I think culinary school is worth it in 2021? Now that is a loaded question. So keep in mind, now this is my opinion, but I have some facts to back up this opinion, and it's going to hurt some people's feelings, especially some parents out there. Now, that is very person specific, but I'm going to say for the general, no, absolutely not. And here's why. The return on investment is no longer there. How do we combat that? Let me explain. So return on investment is it's called ROI. It's a business term. And I think this is really important for the young person to know that you are going to shell out anywhere from $40 to $80 to $100,000 for these school loans, okay? And 2 years out, yes, you will have got some networking and you will have met some chefs, but you're going to come out as an entry-level line cook, prep cook, commis, maybe even dishwasher, or start in the front of the house. Nobody in their right mind is going to make you a sous chef right out of culinary school. If you were like me, I started cooking before culinary school. So when I went to culinary school, I already had 3 or 4 years of experience. I was already a line cook. I already knew how to cut, prep. I knew what chicken stock was, my 5 mother sauces. I knew all of that. I knew all the basic culinary from a chef that I worked for. But anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. Now, here's the other thing. Do I think culinary school is worth it in 2021? Yes, if you're not paying for it, right? So now I'm not saying put your parents in debt. All right, that's not what I mean. If you just come out of the military and the government is paying for your student loans, you can take a risk. You can hop on a culinary program, if it's being subsidized or whatever the case may be. But listen, it's very person specific. But if you are a person that wants to do a career change and you have a good job, but you want to change over, you're thinking about going to culinary school, I would highly advise, even if you're 18 years old, 19 years old, 20, 25, before you decide that you want to be a chef in a restaurant and own a restaurant or open your own restaurant one day, go work in a restaurant first. Doesn't matter what position. Busboy, dishwasher, host, doesn't matter. Get your foot in the door, figure out, commit for at least 90 days to 6 months. Commit, because I think it's really important to know that I've seen a lot of people who come out of high school, they want to go to culinary school, and they literally have never worked in a restaurant before. And it's way overwhelming. Some people can't handle high pressure situations, and it crumbles them. And then boom, you're in culinary school, you get an internship, you're working at a job, and you absolutely bed. You can't wrap your head around it. I've seen it. You're coming out of culinary school, you need experience, you want to go to culinary school, you don't know if it's a good idea because of the student loan debt. Yeah, not a good idea. Now, if your parents help you and they pay for some things, right? This is a tricky situation, which, I'm not going to speak on because my parents did not pay for my school loans. And, my mom didn't co-sign. My father tried to co-sign, but it didn't really work out. And I think it's really important to know that the ROI on culinary school is not there. It's not there. And the most important reason why I'm saying this is because to become a chef, to be a chef, you don't need culinary school. You don't need it. And I can firmly say that. You don't need it, and you haven't needed it for the last 5 years. There was a period of time where if you wanted to work at the Marriott or a hotel or a corporate place, a degree would really help you. And it said minimum associate in culinary or minimum culinary degree. And there was times in my life where I felt really good putting down culinary degree or college or whatever it is, I gotta admit, as soon as I got into the real world, where in culinary school they tell you to put, your culinary school on the top of the resume. Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. That makes you look like you are a beginner. And also, if you're in culinary school right now and you're watching this video, do not go to stage. Do not go to do your internship in your school coat. Okay? when you're wearing a school coat, it looks like you're a beginner. It looks like you don't know what you're doing, that you're deer in the headlights. So do not, even though the school brainwashes you into telling everybody that you went to Johnson and Wales or CIA or whatever, don't do it, okay? Furthermore, I think in the restaurant business especially, and the reason why I don't like talk about where I worked, I don't like talk about who I worked for, even though I could flex like a mother flower, I could flex hard. I just, over the years and in my career, I have had some top level culinarians, okay? Whether it's from CIA, Johnson and Wales, doesn't matter, okay? Cordon Bleu, I've had all of them, where they talk a big game, but you know what? They can't cook, or they don't know how to work in a restaurant. And they think just because they went to CIA or just because they went to Johnson & Wales that they should be treated differently. Listen, not in the world, not in the restaurant world, okay? So, needless to say, I've seen really good talent come out of schools, but I've also seen really people come out of schools just like that. My suggestion is, 1, work in a restaurant first. 2, see if you can afford it before you sign up. Don't go for the name. Do not go for the name. I think this is really important because the tuition is very expensive. You're paying for yourself. Just know that you are not going to come out there making $60,000 a year. It's. I know I'm going on kind of a rant here, but it's kind of kind of burns deep because I am 35 years old. I'm still paying for culinary school. Still paying for it. Now can I pay bigger parts? But guess what? I don't want to. And the worst part about it is, just so you know, student loans never go away. You cannot, even if you file bankruptcy, even if you, you have low income, it doesn't matter. They never go away. Student loans never go away. So you need to know that before you sign up for school. Think about it for culinary school. And trust me, they want to tell you whatever, just defer the loans, put them on a forbearance. And yes, that does work. But guess what? They're always there, hanging over your head. And I deferred my loans for the better part of my 20s, because I couldn't afford it. Because I think what's really important is to go for the experience. When you come out of school and you immediately have a $600 payment that you have to pay, you as a human being are going to go for the money, which is a no-no. Don't ever go for the money. Trust me, do not go for the money. You want to first figure out what direction you want to go. What type of chef do you want to be? You don't have to just work in a restaurant. There's food bloggers, there's food media, there is, there's a bunch of things you can do on the internet. Like, the internet is here. Back in the day when I went to culinary school, the internet really wasn't that poppin'. Like, yes, the internet was there, but it wasn't as poppin' as it is now. So now with social media and all this stuff, there's so much information out there. You just need to figure out what type of chef you want to be. And trust me, I'm 35 years old now, and that has changed multiple times. I think what's more important is just know that opening a restaurant, operating a restaurant, working in the restaurant business is not what you see on TV. And I think a lot of people get this confused. So, I've had a lot of young talent reach out to me, and they're like, oh my God, I want to go to culinary school. I want to be a chef. And like, here's the thing. Yeah, that's cool. And I understand. But when I was growing up to be a chef, it wasn't cool to be a chef. Like, honestly, it wasn't. A lot of people look down on me. I missed my homecoming to work the line because that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a chef when I was 16. But fast forward 20 years later, chefs are like rock stars. We all have tattoos, you know what I mean? We come out in the dining room now, we explain things like we're on TV, which has paved the road for us. But I think it's really important, and what drives me is to nurture and give good advice to the next generation of chef. If I'm not, this industry is changing, especially with COVID. The industry is changing, and I just don't want to see young culinarians, young chefs get taken advantage of, because that's what's happening. These culinary schools, they're charging an arm and leg, and yet the return on investment is nothing. There's zero guarantee, and it's horrible. And that's my 2 cents. You do not need a degree to cook, to be a chef. You do not need culinary school, right? What you need is experience. What you do on the job, what you do in that kitchen is, like, as a chef, I'll tell you right now, I will take somebody who has a better attitude and who says yes chef and has a yes mentality, that go-getter mentality, over somebody who's decorated, right? And let me tell you why. I've worked with a lot of chefs, I've worked with a lot of cooks, and I hate when a cook or a chef, and chefs too, where they talk a big game, oh, this should be a great chef. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Guess what? Garbage. They do not have when you become a chef, you need to be a leader. You need to lead a team. You need to know how to do financials. You need to know how to manage the restaurant, manage the operation, and you have to bleed. That is the part of the business that sucks. You have to devote a better part of your life to running and operating a restaurant that's somebody else's. Okay? Yes, you do get paid, and you do, but the thing is like, just understand that if you want to be a restaurant chef, great. But guess what? It's a long, hard road. The payoff is not that awesome. It's a passion. It's a job of passion. For me, I knew I couldn't afford Johnson & Wales or CIA. I just knew, because I had just bought a house, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I kind of know finances now. And I chose to go to the Florida Culinary Institute in West Palm Beach, which was 50% of the cost. It was $26,000 opposed to $44,000 for Johnson & Wales. And, I think it's really important to know that, and a lot of young kids do not know that. And, of course, their parents want them to go to school. The parents want this, but they want that for themselves. They want to tell their friends that, oh my God, he's going to culinary school to be a chef. When in retrospect, now if I could go back, no, you need to go get a job in a restaurant to start working with food. If you want to be a restaurant chef, if you want to be a food blogger, you need to go to YouTube, hit the search, and start seeing what it takes. Because for sure, doing this, like talking to a camera, taking pictures and photos, you don't need culinary school for that, for sure. And you can make a living off of that. But I think what's really important is, like, the internet is there. It's at your disposal. You can pull any recipe offline that you need. You can do private catering. You can do private chefing. There's so much that you can do that you don't need to pay somebody to teach you to do. And then on the other hand, for just as much good information that's out there, there's also some bad information. So you see a lot of chefs now. We're coming out of the woodworks. We've been strapped in restaurants, but I think this is important. And so that's my synopsis. I'm gonna stop going on this rant, but I would love to open up the conversation. I'm gonna post this on my IG. I'm gonna post this on my TikTok, because I know it's controversial. But I think it's really important for the younger generation of chef to have the proper information that they need to be successful. And I'm telling you right now, culinary school is not in the books, especially for 90 grand a year. And these schools will do it too. They'll brainwash you into telling you that yes, it's the best school, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But guess what? Nothing is more important to the chef, that the person that you're working for in a restaurant, except going above and beyond. It doesn't matter. Once what you learn at school doesn't apply into the restaurant. You're not going to get quizzed at work. If you have any questions, I know all situations are different. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but at the same time, just know that I'm a professional chef. I've ran kitchens. I've worked my way up the ladder. Okay, prep cook, dishwasher, sous chef, junior sous chef, chef brigade, chef tournant. Okay, all these positions. Yeah, executive sous chef, chef de cuisine, executive chef. I've been in all of them. And I think what's really important to know is that I've had my pulse on the actual restaurant industry for the last 15 years of my life. Okay, from fine dining to fast casual to, you name it. I've ran and operated, and I've had my taste of pretty much everything. So, with that it. If you haven't subscribe now. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll just keep this going, man. All my young chefs out there, keep cooking. Let's go.